A young man named Kanata spends his time collecting small interesting items from old ruins. One day, while he is outside looking for new things to add to his collection, dark clouds gather and rain starts to fall. His friend Tokio nearby tells him they should leave before the weather gets worse, but Kanata does not answer right away. As he keeps exploring among the broken ruins, he notices a young woman lying asleep on the ground between the damaged buildings. Kanata moves closer to look at her while Tokio soon walks over and joins him. The two of them quickly realize that the woman is not an ordinary human. She is a Magus, a special artificial partner that helps drifters operate combat machines called coffins. Before they can decide what to do with her, several dangerous machines called tripods suddenly appear from the ruins and attack them. Tokio contacts Muton and asks him to send his coffin, the powerful battlesuit used by drifters. Soon the coffin arrives, so Tokio immediately jumps inside it and prepares to fight. As Tokio protects him, Kanata carefully carries the sleeping Magus away from the ruins. More tripods continue to appear and attack them. Tokio fights hard and blocks the enemies while Kanata escapes with the Magus. Kanata reaches their carrier vehicle and places the Magus safely inside. He drives away from the dangerous area while Tokio continues fighting. The tripods keep chasing them, and Tokio's machine gun quickly runs out of ammunition. Because of this, he switches to a stronger weapon that fires rockets. The rockets destroy the attacking machines, and finally the area becomes safe again. After a long trip, they eventually return home. The next day, Tokio goes to sell the valuable treasure that he and Kanata found during their journey. At the shop, he meets his rival Michael, who becomes angry after seeing the treasure. Tokio laughs and jokes that his prize is much bigger and better than Michael's. Because of the treasure, Tokio receives good payment. After getting the money, he tells everyone that they should meet later at a bar to celebrate. Meanwhile, Kanata takes the sleeping Magus to his apartment. He wants to understand why she is still unconscious. While checking her system, he presses a button on her body by mistake. Suddenly, her clothes disappears, which makes Kanata extremely embarrassed. At that moment, two women arrive at his apartment. One of them is Ellie. She asks Kanata if he plans to let Tokio keep working alone because Tokio will probably spend all his money again. Kanata explains that he has already tried many times to stop Tokio but never succeeds. Ellie reminds him that she and her team invited him to join their group many times in the past. She says they have already asked him 100 times to join the adventure team. Just then the other woman walks into his room and suddenly sees the Magus lying on the bed. She screams in shock. Kanata quickly tries to explain that he found her in the ruins and did nothing wrong. At that moment, the Magus suddenly wakes up. She looks at Kanata and calmly tells him that next time she will guide him to a place called Paradise. Ellie quietly leaves the apartment because she has feelings for Kanata and feels hurt. The other woman follows her and says she should have forced Kanata to stay. Ellie becomes emotional and begins to cry. Later, Kanata walks back to the Magus and greets her. The next day, an announcement is made inside the Dome City. The authorities say that no Ender attacks are expected today, so drifters can travel safely. From the roof of a building, an old man and a young boy watch the city below them. Suddenly, the boy notices a strange red flash in the distance and wonders if he really saw something unusual. Back at Kanata's place, the Magus meets him again while he is washing up. She begins asking many simple questions that show she knows almost nothing about the world, not even about herself. Kanata explains that he works as a collector. He also tells her about a legendary place called Paradise, a great city that existed before a disaster known as the Tears of the New Moon. Some people believe it is only a story, but Kanata believes the city might be real. Soon Kanata takes the Magus with him in his carrier vehicle. They travel to meet a famous mechanic named Seal Maria. As they approach Maria's home, a rocket suddenly flies toward them. Kanata quickly moves the vehicle and avoids the attack. The Magus asks what just happened. Kanata calmly explains that this is simply Maria's unusual way of greeting visitors. When they finally meet Maria, she jokingly laughs at the Magus Kanata brought with him. Kanata feels embarrassed and explains that the Magus does not even know her own name and seems weaker than other Magus. Maria then sends 3 Magus assistants to examine her condition. After checking her systems, they confirm that she is actually in perfect health. During the conversation, the Magus asks what Magus are supposed to do. They explain that Magus exists to help humans. Suddenly, Kanata receives an emergency alert. A large group of Enders is attacking Rock Town. The city's defense systems activate immediately and begin fighting back, but the Enders continue pushing forward and soon break into the city. When Kanata sees the attack, he quickly moves toward the battlefield. The Magus follows him. At the same time, the city launches many combat machines to stop the enemies. Michael also arrives as a representative of the Drifters and enters his coffin to fight. While battling the Enders, Michael wonders how the Weather Office failed to predict this sudden swarm attack. Tokio soon appears and joins the battle as well. In another part of the dome, Ellie calls for help because she is struggling to fight a group of Enders alone. Michael tells her that they will help after finishing their current fight, but Ellie insists that they cannot wait. During the chaos, Kanata suddenly drives his carrier into the battlefield and strikes several Enders. Ellie becomes angry and tells him to leave because he is not a drifter and could make things worse. She also says Michael is already on the way. Her words make Kanata feel frustrated and embarrassed. He returns to his apartment and looks at the coffin machine he owns but never uses. He remembers that 3 years ago he took the drifter test and failed. That moment destroyed his confidence. He remembers how Tokio encouraged him back then, saying that someone who truly wants to become a drifter must find his own path. Thinking about those words, Kanata climbs into his coffin. He tells the Magus to stay behind and wait for him. Then he goes out to fight the Enders. While Ellie continues battling enemies, a massive and powerful Ender suddenly appears. Her attacks cannot damage it. At that moment, Kanata arrives inside his coffin and begins firing at the monster. However, his movements are clumsy because he does not have a Magus partner to assist him. The giant Ender quickly strikes back and knocks Kanata into a wall. He begins to doubt himself again. Just then he sees the Magus running toward him. She tells him to open the coffin so she can enter. Kanata hesitates but finally opens the cockpit. She climbs inside and connects to the system. Her name suddenly appears on the display screen as Noir. With Noir guiding him, Kanata's movements become smooth and precise. Far away, Tokio watches the battle. His own Magus asks if he plans to help his friend, but Tokio decides not to interfere because he wants Kanata to grow stronger on his own. With Noir's support, Kanata reads the enemy's movements perfectly. He avoids the monster's attacks and charges forward at the right moment. His final strike hits the Ender directly and destroys it. When the remaining Enders see their leader defeated, they begin to retreat. Other drifters chase them down and eliminate them. After the battle, Tokio proudly watches his friend. Kanata finally discovers that the mysterious Magus who helped him is named Noir. The following day, Kanata stands with his friend Tokio and Tokio's Magus Muton, while they examine Kanata's damaged coffin. Muton carefully studies the joints and explains that the metal parts are damaged because of extreme heat and pressure during the fight. He believes the old coffin cannot handle the speed and movements that Noir uses during combat. Tokio listens and then suddenly says that Noir might be something very rare called a Type 0 Magus. At that moment, Maria suddenly arrives in her carrier vehicle. She brings several spare coffin parts with her. She offers him a few useful parts as a starting gift. Kanata is grateful for her help. Kanata then asks Maria where he might find the most important parts needed for the coffin. Maria suggests returning to the same ruins where Noir was discovered. That night, they travel back to the ruins together. Maria uses her scanning tools to search the area. After some time, her device receives a signal. The signal leads them to a large metal container buried among the broken structures. They open it and examine it carefully. Kanata asks Noir if anything in this place helps her remember her past. Noir calmly answers that nothing looks familiar to her. While searching the area, Maria discovers an old and damaged camera device. She believes it might contain records of Noir's original master. Later, Ellie and her Magus arrive at Maria's base. While talking together, they suddenly hear a strange noise coming from far away. They go outside to investigate and soon notice a large carrier vehicle approaching. They quickly learn that the vehicle belongs to a powerful group known as the Nebbiolo family from Baccarat Nest. While trying to understand why they came here, they suddenly recognize someone inside the group. The person is Range, a former member of the adventure group that once worked with them. At the same time, Kanata and Tokio return to the nest area in their own carrier. After they arrive, Maria is told that the Magus she requested has already arrived. Kanata is confused and wonders why she asked for another Magus. Maria then activates the new Magus by placing her finger on a special mark on the Magus's neck. The Magus immediately recognizes Maria as her master and begins following her commands. Kanata later gives the old camera they found in the ruins to Noir. Tokyo soon pulls Kanata away so they can go celebrate together at a bar. Noir quietly holds the camera and asks where she should place it. Mouton tells her to put it on a table in the back room. As she walks there, she almost slips and drops the camera, but Mouton quickly catches it and prevents it from breaking. Afterward, he continues cleaning the room with incredible speed and skill. Meanwhile, Kanata walks toward the bar with Tokyo but hesitates along the way. He wants to go home instead. Tokyo tells him to relax and enjoy the evening so he will not keep worrying about Noir losing her memories and returning to her original master. Inside the bar, a rare Magus named Dolce sits alone while eating fresh food. Many people stare at her with jealousy because fresh food is very difficult to find. When Dolce notices two men staring angrily at her meal, she approaches them. She says she feels sorry for the poor food they are eating and offers to share her meal. The men happily accept, but Dolce suddenly places the food on the floor and calls them underdogs. They become furious and attempt to attack her. Tokyo quickly steps in and stops the fight. He kicks the food into the air and catches it in his mouth while laughing. Dolce seems impressed and says she would enjoy showing him around the circus someday. She also asks if he knows anything about the powerful Baccarat nest. Soon Range enters the bar and sees Tokyo. He greets him confidently, but Tokyo pretends not to recognize him. Kanata quickly reminds Tokyo who the man is. Range becomes irritated when Kanata mentions that Michael once expelled him from Rock Town for bothering Maria. Range proudly declares that he is now an important member of Baccarat Nest. Ellie soon approaches the group and begins speaking with him. Range starts mocking her and insulting Kanata. Kanata tries to defend Ellie, but Range laughs and says Kanata is not even a real drifter. Ellie argues that Kanata is talented and now has a Magus partner. Range responds by saying the Magus is unlucky to have such a weak master. The insults deeply upset Kanata. Later, Tokyo congratulates him for becoming a real drifter, but Kanata quietly leaves the bar feeling discouraged. When he returns home, he immediately begins repairing his damaged coffin with Mouton's help. Noir offers to assist him, but Kanata tells her to stay back because the repair work could be dangerous. After working for many hours, Kanata finally falls asleep. However, during the night, Noir quietly leaves the room. When Kanata wakes up, he realizes she is gone. At the same time, Ellie feels guilty because she believes Kanata failed the drifter test in the past partly because of her. Her Magus encourages her to visit him. While traveling toward his home, they meet Kanata on the road. He looks worried and explains that Noir has disappeared. Kanata fears that she may have gone to search for her real master after regaining her memories. Ellie insists that someone may have tricked her. Meanwhile, Noir walks through the city looking for someone who can repair the camera. During her search, she meets Range. He approaches her and asks what she is doing. When Noir explains that she needs help fixing the camera, Range quickly realizes she belongs to Kanata. He lies and tells her that he knows someone who can repair the device. Noir trusts him and follows him. At the same time, a man watching the city from a rooftop notices them and quickly informs Kanata. However, Kanata hesitates to chase them. He feels ashamed and believes Noir might be happier with a stronger master. Ellie tries to convince him that Range probably tricked Noir, but Kanata admits he selfishly hoped Noir would never remember her past because he feared losing her. Suddenly, Tokyo appears in his coffin and tells Kanata they must rescue Noir immediately. Kanata agrees and they rush toward Range's carrier vehicle. Range is pleased because he believes capturing Noir will make his boss happy. Inside the carrier, Noir sits with several other Magus. One of them, named Seal, sits beside her and asks about the camera. Noir shows it to her and asks if she can repair it. Seal examines the device and explains that the camera is not broken, but its battery is empty. She then produces electricity with her fingers and recharges the device. Noir watches in amazement and asks how she did that. Seal explains that many Magus can create small amounts of electricity and that Noir should be able to do it as well. Suddenly, an alarm sounds throughout the carrier, warning of an approaching attack. Range sees Kanata and Tokyo arriving and orders his forces to attack. Tokyo immediately begins fighting the enemy coffins. Kanata moves directly toward the carrier to rescue Noir. He lands on top of the moving vehicle, but Range quickly appears in his own coffin to stop him. Range declares that Kanata cannot fight without Maria's help and calls him unworthy of controlling a powerful Magus like Noir. He demands that Kanata surrender the coffin and the Magus if he wants to survive. Kanata refuses and says that Noir belongs with him because he was the one who found her. Inside the carrier, Noir hears their conversation. The words cause a sudden surge of energy to move through her body. She rushes outside to help Kanata. Range is shocked when he sees her escape. He attacks Kanata and knocks his coffin off the moving carrier. Noir immediately jumps after him and connects herself to the machine. The coffin powers up again with Noir guiding Kanata to avoid Range's attacks. Kanata quickly strikes back and destroys the weapons on Range's coffin, removing its arms and legs so it can no longer fight. Range hopes his backup forces will save him, but he soon realizes that Tokyo and Michael have already defeated them. With no choice left, he escapes with his Magus. After the battle, Noir shows Kanata the camera and explains that Seal repaired it. Kanata checks the device but discovers that its memory storage is empty. He gently tells Noir that he will still help her remember her past and find her true master someday. Hearing this makes Noir hesitate. She quietly asks if she really must leave him. Kanata asks if that was the reason she tried to repair the camera, to that Noir shakes her head. She explains that she only wanted to become useful and help him properly, so she hoped her memories would return. Kanata is surprised by her answer. Noir then lowers her head and exposes the mark on her neck, inviting him to become her master. Still shocked, Kanata slowly removes his glove and touches the mark on her neck, officially forming a bond and making Noir his Magus. After repairs on Kanata's coffin are finished, Kanata stands beside Tokyo and checks the machine carefully. For the first time in years, he feels like a real drifter again, as signing the contract with Noir as his Magus changes everything. 3 years ago, he failed the drifter test and believed that dream had ended forever. Tokyo looks at him with a proud smile and says that Kanata has grown a lot since those days. Tokyo thinks Kanata has finally become a proper man. Because of that, he decides to celebrate the moment in a special way. He secretly plans to take Kanata to a place where people go to enjoy themselves and forget their worries. Later that day, Kanata receives a request to help Ellie with a job. Ellie's uncle gives her the assignment, and she must complete it soon. When Ellie finally arrives at Kanata's house, she expects to see him waiting. Instead, she finds only Noir. The quiet Magus greets her calmly. Before Ellie can ask where Kanata is, Noir shows her a message left by Tokyo. The message floats in the air as a recorded image. Tokyo explains that he has taken Kanata to a place called Desire so they can celebrate. The moment Ellie hears the name of the place, her expression changes. Desire is famous as the city of pleasure. Ellie does not waste more time talking about it. She tells Noir and Ange to prepare Kanata's coffin. Ange still does not understand where they are going, so she asks Ellie for an explanation. Ellie answers that they must travel to Desire to pick up Kanata first. After that, they will complete the job her uncle assigned. At the same time, Kanata and Tokyo arrive in the famous city. The moment they enter, bright lights and loud music fill the streets. Desire truly looks like a paradise built for enjoyment. Tokyo looks excited as he walks through the busy streets. He knows the city well and treats it like a playground. Kanata, however, feels uncomfortable. The atmosphere of the city makes him nervous. Tokyo notices Kanata's uneasy face and tries to cheer him up. He explains that this place is perfect for celebrating Kanata's first success as a drifter. Soon they stop in front of a shop that Tokyo claims is famous. Before Kanata can even react, several cheerful women come outside to welcome him. They surround him with friendly smiles and guide him toward the entrance. Kanata feels trapped and embarrassed. Instead of helping his friend, Tokyo quietly slips away. He decides to explore the city on his own and search for other entertaining places. Far away from them, Ellie drives toward Desire with Noir and Ange. Ellie still feels shocked that Kanata went to such a place. She quietly apologizes to Noir for bringing her along on this strange trip. Noir then asks Ellie how important the past is to people. Ellie explains that she and Kanata have known each other since childhood. They grew up together, and she believes Kanata has not changed much since then. Hearing this makes Noir feel a little sad. She explains that she erased her own memory when she restarted her system. Because of that, she cannot remember anything from her past. Ellie quickly tries to comfort her. She reminds Noir that Kanata accepted her as his Magus even without knowing her history. While they continue driving, Anj suddenly notices someone standing alone on the road. She stops the vehicle to check on the person. The traveler turns out to be Schnee, another Magus. Schnee explains that she is waiting for her master. She had been traveling and lost track of him. Ellie warns her that traveling alone during an enderstorm is dangerous. There could be monsters or criminals nearby. Schnee politely thanks them for their concern. She explains that her master is a famous drifter known as the Sword. However, she also admits that he has one weakness. He is very strong in battle but often leaves his back unprotected. While talking, Schnee studies Noir closely. She suddenly says that Noir looks very special. In fact, she resembles the mysterious goddess that many people have been searching for. Meanwhile, Kanata waits nervously inside the guest house in Desire. While he sits there, a man wearing a strange mask approaches him. The masked man also appears new to the place. The man calmly tells Kanata to relax and breathe slowly. According to him, people should forget their worries when they arrive in this city. At that same time outside the city, dark clouds gather in the sky. Ellie notices strange geysers rising from the ground. The Ender Storm is beginning. Ellie quickly tells Anj to keep driving toward the city. She and Anj prepare their coffin and get ready for battle. Ellie gives Noir an important task. Noir must reach the city quickly, find Kanata, and bring him outside to help fight the monsters. Schnee and Noir soon arrive at the guest house where Kanata is staying. Noir rushes to him and explains the situation. She tells him that many Enders are appearing outside the city. Kanata feels surprised and relieved to see Noir. However, he becomes nervous when he learns Ellie followed him to Desire. Even so, he quickly decides to help. The masked man from earlier turns out to be Schnee's master. He apologizes for leaving her behind earlier. Then he orders her to prepare their coffin so they can fight the Enders. Outside the city, Ellie and Anj already battle several monsters. More Enders and large geysers appear in the sky. The fight becomes more difficult with each passing minute. Just when things seem dangerous, Kanata suddenly arrives in his coffin. He saves Ellie at the perfect moment. Ellie feels both shocked and happy to see him. She thanks him for coming when she needed help. After that, they continue fighting side by side. Ellie gives Kanata instructions. He traps the Enders while she shoots them from a distance. However, the geysers prove much stronger than the normal monsters. Some of them are even able to fly through the air. Kanata tries to capture one, but becomes stuck for a moment. Then a powerful new machine appears on the battlefield. It is the Snow White coffin controlled by Schnee and her master. The Snow White coffin destroys the monsters with incredible speed. Enders and geysers fall one after another. Kanata and Ellie watch with amazement as the powerful machine clears the battlefield. Ellie quietly admits that the Snow White coffin is far more advanced than the one Tokyo uses. Everyone watches the battle carefully, wondering who exactly controls such a powerful weapon. Finally, the Snow White coffin closes its grave system. The battlefield becomes silent again as the last monster disappears. Later that evening, Ellie speaks privately with Kanata. She reminds him about the important job her uncle offered earlier. At first, Kanata feels unsure about accepting it. After thinking for a moment, he finally agrees to work together with her. Somewhere else in the city, Tokyo and Muton continue running through the streets. Kanata goes to see Mam because he wants to become stronger. He is serious about training and improving his abilities. When he arrives, Mam quickly refuses to help him. She thinks he has come to tell one of his usual adventure stories again. However, Kanata explains that he truly wants to train and work hard. He asks her to teach him anything that can help him become stronger. Mam listens to him carefully. After thinking for a moment, she says she actually has an idea for training. Her answer surprises Kanata, and he feels both shocked and curious. Later, Kanata travels to a place called Tower Gorge. People say that this area is filled with many Enders. Unlike some other places, the Enders here are not connected to strange weather changes. Tokyo is with him, along with their Magus companions. Tokyo explains that the area is perfect for training. The gorge is full of bushes and rough land, which makes it a good place for digging for valuable items while also fighting enemies. This means Kanata can gain experience and also collect wealth at the same time. Suddenly, Mouton speaks up. The Magus says that something unexpected has happened. A group of Enders has appeared nearby, and they are quickly moving toward them. Kanata reacts immediately. He stands up and tells Noir that they must move. They quickly enter the coffin so they can fight properly. As the Enders approach, Noir explains what she can detect about them. She gives Kanata information about their movements and positions. When the enemies finally come close enough, Kanata begins his attack. However, the battle does not go the way he expected. The Enders move quickly and avoid his strikes. Kanata starts to feel nervous when Noir warns him that 2 Enders are moving toward the carrier unit. That part is important because it helps support the coffin. If the carrier is damaged, the entire system could stop working. Panicking, Kanata calls out to Tokyo for help. However, Tokyo does not respond. He reminds Kanata that he already promised not to interfere. Kanata begins to lose control of his emotions. He becomes frustrated and frightened at the same time. He fires his weapons again and again, trying to hit the approaching enemies. Unfortunately, his attacks keep missing because he is too angry and nervous to aim properly. Noir notices the problem and asks if she should adjust the targeting system for him. She wants to help him aim more accurately. Kanata refuses her offer. However, before he can do anything, something strange happens. The Enders suddenly begin to fall one after another. Each one is destroyed quickly, but no one can see who is attacking them. Soon they notice another coffin standing on a nearby Mouton. This coffin appears to be responsible for the sudden destruction. Suddenly, a ghost-like human shape emerges from the coffin. The figure unleashes powerful firestorms that destroy the remaining Enders in moments. Kanata speaks with shock in his voice. The mysterious coffin slowly descends from the Mouton. Kanata runs toward it right away to meet the person inside. He wants to thank whoever helped them. A beautiful woman steps out of the coffin. She walks toward Kanata with her arms open as if she wants to greet him politely. Kanata moves forward to shake her hand. However, the moment he gets close, she suddenly grabs his neck and begins choking him. She scolds him harshly for being careless. She says he acts like a reckless coffin rider who throws himself into danger without thinking. Tokyo quickly arrives and explains the situation. He tells the woman that Kanata is still new and does not have much experience yet. At that moment, another confident girl appears. She is a Magus who walks up beside the woman. The girl gently holds Kanata's hands and asks her master to join her. In the next moment, the woman introduces herself. Her name is Claudia, and the Magus beside her is Flam. Claudia explains that experienced drifters often help each other when they can. According to her, cooperation is part of the drifter way of life. She leads them to another location. The place is filled with white daisies that cover the ground like a blanket. In the middle of the flowers stands a large shining treasure. Mouton rushes forward and examines the object carefully. It turns out to be a huge owl crystal. Claudia explains that she discovered the crystal earlier but could not mine it. Too many Enders are attracted to the energy waves it releases. Tokyo asks Claudia why she does not simply activate strong shields and mine the crystal safely. Claudia admits that she cannot handle everything alone. She needs help protecting the area while someone mines the treasure. She proposes that they share the reward equally. If they succeed, both sides will receive half of the profit. The crystal is extremely valuable, so the money will be large. Mouton looks around at the preparations Claudia has already made and praises her work. However, Tokyo still feels uncomfortable about the plan. He suggests destroying the entire area with explosives to remove all the Enders. Claudia refuses this idea immediately. She explains that Flam loves this beautiful field of flowers. Because of that, she wants to keep the place safe and untouched. Kanata feels moved by her words. He looks toward Noir, who is currently playing with Flam among the flowers. Kanata asks Noir if she is having fun. Noir says she is not completely sure, but she does think the white flowers look very pretty. After hearing this, Kanata calls out to Claudia. He tells her that he agrees to follow the plan. Later they sit together and discuss the details while eating food. Claudia explains that the operation must happen at night. Once the protective wave shield turns off, the Enders will attack within 10 minutes. She assigns the roles for the mission. One person must guard the main defense point and stop the Enders from entering the field. The other person must use the coffin to mine the crystal. However, there is another entrance where some Enders may still appear. Unfortunately, no one is available to guard that location. Tokyo offers to handle that position. Claudia agrees and says she will defend the main entrance. She admits that she is not completely confident about how much ammunition she has left. Kanata is supposed to focus on mining the crystal. However, he changes the plan. He says he wants to defend the area instead while Claudia handles the mining work. He wants to use this battle as training. Meanwhile, Flam talks with Noir about their coffins. She explains that Kanata's coffin reminds her of an ogre, a powerful creature with large horns and a frightening appearance. Later, Claudia meets Kanata while he is repairing part of her coffin. She feels amazed by how quickly he fixes the damage. She begins flirting with him playfully and even offers to repay his kindness in a personal way. Kanata becomes embarrassed by her words. During their conversation, Kanata learns something surprising. Noir is also a Type 0 Magus, just like Flam. Claudia warns him that many people would want to capture such a rare Magus. She tells him to protect Noir carefully. That night, Kanata stands guard while preparing for the attack. Soon several Enders appear from behind the field. Kanata fights them with Noir's support. He throws explosives and manages to destroy many of the enemies. Eventually, only 2 Enders remain. Kanata attacks them quickly to stop them from escaping. However, one Ender slips past him and heads toward the mining area. At that moment, Tokyo suddenly appears. He steps directly between the Ender and its path. Using a special tool, he quickly defeats both remaining enemies. Kanata returns to the mining site to check on Claudia. However, she is nowhere to be found. The shining crystal is also gone. At first, Kanata believes she simply left with the treasure. Then the truth becomes clear. Claudia had planned everything from the start. She apologizes and explains that she desperately needs the money to care for Flam. Hearing this makes Kanata feel disappointed but also sympathetic. The next morning, Tokyo explains that betrayal like this is common among drifters. He says Kanata paid a high price to learn this lesson. Even so, Kanata does not feel completely defeated. He believes they gained something valuable from the experience. Noir then announces that the coffin now has a new name. From now on, she proudly calls it Daisy. In a distant and unknown place, a drifter runs for his life while enemy coffins chase him. Their attacks hit his coffin again and again until one powerful strike throws him to the ground. The enemy coffins slowly move closer to the damaged machine. They open the part of the coffin where the Magus stays. Soon, several men arrive and take the Magus away from the drifter. The poor man screams in pain as they leave him behind. At the same time, Kanata and Noir walk through Rock Town to buy new supplies for their food printer. As they move through the busy streets, some men nearby start making fun of Kanata. They joke about the beautiful woman he met during his last mission. Kanata feels uncomfortable, and he also feels upset when he remembers that Tokyo lied about what really happened before. While walking through the town, Kanata suddenly notices something surprising. The AO crystal that they discovered in Tower Gorge is now being sold in a public market. Many people stand around it and look at it with amazement. Kanata quickly learns that Claudia is the one who sold the crystal. After the deal is finished, Kanata meets Claudia and Flam outside the building. They ask him if he is still angry about what happened before. Kanata calmly tells them that he is no longer angry. Claudia then invites him to continue talking about his dreams while sharing a meal together. But Kanata politely refuses. She then offers to teach him how to become a great drifter. Kanata quickly rejects the offer because he believes she is trying to trick him again. Claudia does not stop there. She explains that a drifter and a Magus must form a deep connection between their hearts and bodies to become truly powerful partners. Her words make Kanata feel a little uneasy. She then tells him about a place called Faze. It is the location of an ancient maze where drifters and Magus can strengthen their bond. According to her, if they choose the same path and avoid danger, they can become perfectly united and stay together forever. Later, when Kanata returns to the base, he thinks about what Claudia said and laughs it off. Noir then asks him if they are going to Faze. Kanata immediately says no. Noir becomes curious and asks if he does not want to become one with her. Kanata quickly explains that he did not mean it like that. Kanata looks around, trying to find a way to escape the awkward situation. His eyes land on a picture of his family. An idea suddenly appears in his mind. He explains that one way for partners to become closer is to act like a married couple who have lived together for many years. After that moment, Noir begins copying everything Kanata does. Tokio finds the situation extremely funny. Noir continues following Kanata everywhere and even tries to enter the bathroom with him. That night, Kanata lies down in his hammock to sleep. A short time later, Noir enters the room and asks if she can sleep next to him. Kanata refuses at first. However, Noir insists that sleeping beside him will help them become one and become better partners. Eventually, Kanata gives in. Noir climbs into the hammock with him and begins to cuddle him closely. Kanata feels embarrassed and nervous. Suddenly, the hammock breaks under their weight, and both of them fall to the floor. They end up falling asleep in that strange position. The next morning, Ellie walks into the room with her Magus. When she sees Kanata and Noir sleeping together on the floor, she becomes very angry. Noir wakes up and calmly explains that she and Kanata are married now because it will help them become one. Hearing this makes Ellie even more jealous because she believes they somehow became a couple. Meanwhile, Tokio prepares to go out for a drink, but his Magus Mouton suddenly stops him. Mouton explains that multiple Type 0 Magus have been attacked recently. At the same time, Kanata quietly thinks about his weakness and how much he wants to become stronger. When Noir notices his sad expression, she suggests visiting the maze at Faze, just like Claudia mentioned. She says that she also wants to grow stronger together with him. After thinking about it for a while, Kanata finally agrees. The two of them prepare some food and quickly leave for Faze. From far away, Claudia watches them leave. She calls a mysterious man and tells him that everything is now in his hands since she successfully guided Kanata and Noir to Faze as he requested. Back at the base, Tokio and Mouton receive a message saying that Kanata is heading to Faze. Ellie soon learns that Kanata and Noir went to Faze as well. Tokio decides that they should also visit the place because it sounds interesting. At Faze, Kanata and Noir enter their coffin and carefully explore the maze. Suddenly, another coffin attacks them without warning. He tries to escape, but another coffin blocks his path. Kanata dodges several strikes and hits the enemy before quickly moving away. However, he soon realizes that there are more enemies nearby. Soon they see strange flying carriers dropping down and turning into coffins. Kanata becomes even more confused about what is happening. As he tries to escape, the enemy coffins surround him. The attackers then attempt to open the section where Noir is inside the coffin, just like what happened to the other drifter earlier. At that moment, Kanata finally understands that the enemies have been targeting Noir from the beginning. Just as they are about to open the chamber, Tokio suddenly appears and attacks the enemy coffins, forcing them to retreat. When Kanata sees him, he quickly realizes that Ellie and Michael have also arrived. Ellie immediately asks Kanata why he came to such a dangerous place. Before he can answer, Michael interrupts her and tells her to ask the person secretly watching from afar. He quickly reveals the hidden observer, and everyone becomes shocked when they see that it is Claudia. Claudia tries to escape immediately, but Michael chases after her without hesitation. Tokio encourages him and tells him to make sure she pays for what she has done. Kanata also refuses to let her escape. Even though Claudia moves very fast, Kanata follows closely behind her. He throws a chain from his coffin and hooks it onto her machine, pulling her closer. Kanata demands to know if she was truly targeting Noir. Claudia suddenly releases a bright flash of light that blinds him for a moment. Using this chance, she jumps onto the roof of a nearby building and hides. Soon after, Claudia admits that her client is searching for a special Type 0 Magus. She explains that she sent Kanata and Noir to Faze to secretly test Noir. Claudia then activates a powerful illusion and attacks Kanata several times. The illusion confuses him and shows how a drifter and Magus must fight together as one. Kanata tries to aim at her, but he cannot tell which image is real. He stops for a moment and carefully studies her coffin. Suddenly, he remembers that the base of her coffin's gun is damaged. Kanata quickly shares a plan with Noir. They patiently wait for the right moment. Finally, Noir adjusts their aim perfectly, and Kanata fires at once. The attack hits the weak part of Claudia's coffin and heavily damages it. When Claudia realizes she has lost, she surprisingly praises Kanata for his skill. Kanata calmly tells her that he knows someone who can repair her Type 0 Magus for far less money than what she is currently spending. At the same time, Kanata's friends continue fighting the enemy coffins and nearly destroy them all. However, a few enemies manage to escape at the last moment. Claudia eventually leaves the area with Flam. As she goes, she believes that she will meet Kanata and Noir again in the future. When Kanata and Noir return to their friends, Ellie approaches Kanata with hope in her eyes. She asks him to go on a date with her to complete the festival tradition. However, Kanata sadly explains that it is impossible now because the maze was destroyed during the battle. Hearing this answer leaves Ellie feeling very disappointed. 2 hours earlier, the weather suddenly changes. Dark clouds appear, and acidic rain begins to fall from the sky. Because of this dangerous rain, the crystal mining work must stop immediately. Acid rain can damage machines and attract dangerous enders, so everyone needs to find shelter quickly. To keep the group safe from ender attacks, Tokyo leads everyone toward a nearby place known as the Den of Greed. It is a large underground building where people gather during bad weather. When they enter, Kanata quickly realizes that the place is not just a shelter. Bright lights shine everywhere, loud voices fill the air, and people cheer or shout in excitement. The entire place is actually a casino where adventurers gamble their money and items. Tokyo then takes the AO crystals they recently mined and exchanges them for casino chips. The worker hands him 2 packs of chips. Tokyo keeps the larger pack for himself and casually gives the smaller pack to Kanata. Kanata does not complain because he has no real interest in gambling. However, when Kanata steps deeper into the hall, he becomes amazed by the size and beauty of the casino. Only 2 minutes later, Tokyo has already lost every single chip he had. In fact, he loses so badly that he even bets his clothes and ends up wearing nothing but his underwear. Luckily, his Magus quickly steps in and stops him from making any more embarrassing bets. At another part of the casino, a beautiful singing voice begins to echo through the hall. The gentle melody attracts many listeners, and people slowly gather around the stage to watch. Noir listens carefully and quickly recognizes the voice. When she moves closer, she sees that the singer is Seal, the Magus who once helped repair her camera. Seal also notices Noir in the crowd. The two happily greet each other. Noir proudly shows the photos that Kanata recently took of her using the repaired camera. Seal looks at the pictures with admiration, but she also feels a little jealous. Unlike Noir, Seal still does not have a master. Before they leave, Seal happily takes a group photo of Kanata and Noir with her camera. It becomes their first picture together. Later, Kanata walks toward one of the card tables. There he meets the mysterious masked man he had spoken to earlier at another location. Even though both of them are new to this casino, their experiences are completely different. Kanata quickly loses every chip he has, while the masked man wins again and again. Nearby, Schnee quietly tells Noir that she and her master are searching for a special lost key. They have been traveling for a long time while trying to find it. Meanwhile, in the restaurant area of the casino, a man named Range sits at a table and eats huge amounts of synthetic meat. He bites into the food greedily while thinking about his problems. While eating, Range suddenly hears a familiar song. The voice immediately catches his attention. He turns his head and sees Seal performing on the stage. Seal had escaped from some earlier trouble and started singing again. But when Range sees her, his mood suddenly improves. He quickly stands up and walks onto the stage. Range grabs Seal's wrist tightly and shows everyone a digital contract. His Magus displays the document clearly so that the audience can see it. Kanata and the masked man quickly step forward to help her. Unfortunately, the contract makes things difficult. Because it is legally active, they cannot simply attack Range without consequences. Seeing the situation, several greedy adventurers in the crowd start shouting offers. They want to buy Seal from Range. Range notices the excitement and quickly thinks of a new plan. He proposes a deadly tournament. Several fighters will battle in the arena, and the last one standing will win Seal's contract. The crowd becomes excited and begins placing large bets. Kanata wants to enter the fight so he can save Seal. But there is a problem. He already lost all his chips at the tables. Tokyo also gambled away his own machine earlier, leaving Kanata with no money at all. At that moment, Noir makes a quiet decision. Without hesitation, she sells her precious camera, the one she loves very much. The money from the sale gives Kanata the chance to enter the arena. The battle soon begins. 7 drifters step into the arena with their coffins and prepare to fight. Kanata has trained hard recently, and his strength has improved greatly. Fortunately for him, most of the other fighters are not very skilled. One by one, they fall under his attacks. Within only 2 minutes, 6 fighters are already defeated while only 1 opponent remains. The last enemy controls a heavily armored coffin that is famous for its powerful defense. Kanata fires many machine gun rounds, but the bullets cannot break through the thick armor. However, Noir carefully studies the enemy machine and quickly finds its weakness. The heavy armor makes the coffin extremely slow. Using this information, Kanata switches to automatic movement mode and easily defeats the final opponent. The crowd cheers loudly, believing the fight is over. But Range has no intention of keeping his promise. Instead, he surrounds Kanata with 3 of his followers. The situation becomes very dangerous. At that exact moment, something falls from above. A bag filled with casino chips lands nearby. Then a white coffin machine drops down from the air. Inside it are the masked man and Schnee. The masked man calmly says that he will deal with the 3 followers, while Kanata must fight Range himself. Kanata feels grateful and asks for the masked man's name, but the man simply says that this is not the right time to reveal it. The battle begins again. Kanata soon runs out of ammunition and is forced to fight Range in close combat. Unfortunately, close combat is exactly where Range is strongest. Within only a few exchanges, Kanata begins losing the fight. But at that moment, Schnee notices something strange. Noir suddenly begins showing signs of a powerful change. A hidden ability inside her appears to be awakening. The incredible strength she shows surprises everyone nearby, including Tokyo and Seal. With this new power, the situation finally turns in Kanata's favor. Range is defeated, and Seal is finally freed from his control. After the battle, Kanata cancels the terrible contract that bound Seal. For the first time in a long while, she becomes truly free. Since she has nowhere else to go for now, Seal decides to stay temporarily at Kanata's home until she finds her own path again. Since Noir's awakening ability was so incredible, Kanata decides she needs a full examination to ensure everything is okay. He sends her to Maria, who can perform a complete body check on her. With Noir away, the house becomes quiet, leaving only Kanata and Seal behind. Sensing the opportunity, Ellie decides to get closer to Kanata. She walks into the room, only to find Seal there with him. Kanata greets Ellie politely but briefly. Then he tells Seal not to let Ellie call him that way. Watching the interaction between Kanata and Seal, Ellie feels a burning rage. Even though she knows Seal is not a real human but only a Magus, seeing her suck Kanata's injured finger gently triggers an uncontrollable fury inside her. The sight makes Ellie nearly faint with jealousy and anger. To repay Kanata for saving her life, Seal immediately dedicates herself to taking care of all the household chores. She prepares meals with care, cleans the house meticulously, wipes Kanata's sweat after he finishes his work, and even organizes his personal belongings. Her attention to detail is precise, down to tidying his underwear. While Kanata is busy with his own tasks, Seal sings soft, sweet songs to accompany him, bringing a calm and peaceful feeling to the house. During a casual conversation, Kanata talks about the time he found Noir living in the wild. He mentions that he would willingly let Noir go if she ever finds her previous owner, showing his understanding and fairness. Hearing this, Seal's affection toward Kanata deepens. She feels a special bond with him and begins to cherish him even more. When night comes, Kanata courteously offers the bed to Seal and chooses to sleep in the hammock instead. Seal is confused at first. She does not understand why Kanata would give up the bed for her, as Magus does not require sleep. Kanata explains that he thought she would like to rest because Noir enjoys sleeping. He says he has always treated Magus this way because of how his mother treated her Magus. Kanata's father had also been a drifter who loved exploring the world before the New Moon disaster. Kanata had grown up without a mother, so his father's Magus had acted as a maternal figure in his life. Unfortunately, this family stability does not last. During a fight against an Ender boss, both of Kanata's parents are killed. Despite this tragedy, Kanata refuses to be broken by grief. Instead, he uses the memory of his family to inspire himself. Sitting with Seal that night, Kanata shares the story of his past. He pours out his feelings openly, telling her about his childhood, his parents, and the loss he endured. He speaks from the heart, not realizing that Seal is quietly listening and recording information at the top of the base. She sends a report to the organization while Kanata sleeps, silently following orders from her superiors. The next morning, Seal goes about her usual chores. However, Kanata notices something unusual. She is quiet, does not sing her normal cheerful songs, and seems less enthusiastic than before. Kanata worries that he may have said something that unintentionally upset her. Wanting to help, he borrows Tokyo's armored vehicle and takes Seal to a location outside the base. Seal does not know exactly what Kanata is planning, but she senses something is different. The organization has clear instructions. If Noir is the key to their plans, Kanata, as her current owner, could be considered a potential threat. If he refuses to release Noir, the organization would act immediately to eliminate him. To protect Kanata, who is unaware of the danger, Seal decides to cooperate with the plan. She allows Kanata to rest for a short while she plans to take Noir away temporarily. As Seal prepares to act, Kanata unexpectedly slams on the brakes, halting her actions. They arrive at the ruins of an old opera house. Kanata hopes that this location will inspire Seal to sing again and regain the joy she had lost. Once she begins singing, her voice fills the air beautifully. The song stirs memories of Kanata's parents, evoking emotions of warmth and nostalgia. Seal is deeply moved, and her long-dormant non-human heartbeat begins to stir once again. Just as the song ends, dark clouds gather overhead and acid rain begins to fall. A group of Enders approaches the opera house, threatening both of them. Kanata quickly asks Seal to control Radal's mech together with him to defend against the attackers. Despite never working as a team before, Kanata and Seal coordinate their movements perfectly. For the first time, Kanata realizes that Seal is capable of fighting and using skills, just like other Magus. Their combined effort is effective, and they fight with intensity. After only 2 minutes of fierce combat, the Enders are defeated. Both Kanata and Seal are exhilarated by their success, knowing they accomplished it together. The following night, Noir returns to the base after completing her checkup. Kanata, still concerned about her, asks if Maria installed any strange programs or modifications during her examination. Noir seems confused and does not understand what he means, reassuring him that everything is fine. Meanwhile, Seal's affection for Kanata grows even stronger. She now feels she has found her ideal master, the person she wanted to serve perfectly. The day ends peacefully, with Kanata resting in the hammock, Noir safe after her checkup, and Seal sitting nearby, quietly watching over him. For the first time in a long while, Kanata feels a sense of calm, surrounded by those who matter to him most, and Seal experiences the joy of finding a master she can truly trust and serve. After the Great Catastrophe, fresh fruit has become a rare and precious commodity. Even something as simple as a single banana can be sold for a staggering 890,000. Kanata is at a shop buying parts when he suddenly notices a man standing quietly behind him. The man's presence immediately makes Kanata feel small and ashamed. There is something about the man that commands respect, a quiet authority that Kanata instinctively senses. After finishing his purchases, the man leaves without a word. Curious, Kanata asks the shop owner about him. Through careful questioning, he learns that the man is none other than the legendary drifter, Alba. Hearing this name fills Kanata with hope. He has long wanted to restore Noir's lost memory, and meeting someone as powerful and skilled as Alba could be the key. Excited, he approaches Alba to ask for help, but Alba turns him down immediately. He refuses to speak to what he calls an insignificant nobody. Only then does Kanata realize that he acted too hastily and lacked the proper approach. The following day, Kanata goes shopping at a nearby mall with the hope of encountering Alba again. While browsing, he notices Alba's Magus nearby. Determined to make a good impression, Kanata introduces himself politely, apologizes for his rash actions the day before, and invites the Magus girl to dinner. His true purpose is to use the Magus as a bridge to reach Alba and ask for assistance in restoring Noir's memory. The Magus named Ada accepts his invitation, and they share a satisfying meal together. During the dinner, Kanata explains everything he knows about Noir. He tells them that he found her lying asleep in a garbage dump among flowers. Despite the harsh surroundings, she had the appearance of a sleeping beauty, delicate and untouched. Later, they discover that Noir has been asleep for 10,000 years, which explains why she has no memory of her past. After dinner, Ada brings Kanata and Noir to Alba's home. She treats them warmly and with great hospitality. She even prepares authentic coffee for Kanata, showing care and attention in her small gestures. As night falls, Alba returns home. Kanata stands to greet him, but Alba ignores the gesture entirely. Ada, who has already warmed up to Kanata thanks to the dinner, steps in to mediate. She believes that Alba, despite his brilliance, struggles with social interactions and can appear cold. Ada encourages him to listen to Kanata's story and pay attention to his request. When Kanata mentions that Noir has lost her memory, Alba's interest is piqued. He asks Kanata to explain everything in detail. Meanwhile, dark matter is discovered to have possessed an old, dilapidated mecha. Back at Alba's home, he prepares a high-tech device of his own design to restore Noir's memory. Kanata feels nervous about the procedure, but Ada reassures him that her master is a professional and knows exactly what he is doing. Just then, news arrives of an Ender invasion. Alba instructs Kanata to guard the base while he and Ada rush to the battlefield. The trio of adventurers arrives first at the scene of the attack. Despite their best efforts, their weapons barely affect the parasitic dark matter creatures. These monsters have an incredible ability to continuously heal themselves, making the attacks from the three adventurers almost useless. When the creatures counterattack, the dark matter easily pierces one of the mechas, showing that the enemies are far stronger than expected. The situation looks dire. At the crucial moment, Alba arrives. He immediately assesses the battlefield and orders everyone to step aside. He believes that weak fighters only get in the way and impede the mission. The other two adventurers feel frustrated at first, but they cannot deny Alba's immense power. He eliminates the Enders effortlessly, showing both skill and precision. Alba directs Ada to conduct quick data analysis, allowing him to identify weaker targets and defeat them efficiently. Kanata watches Alba's performance through a live stream, amazed at his skill. Just as he begins to focus on the details, the broadcast abruptly cuts off, leaving him anxious and frustrated. The next day, Noir wakes up after her checkup. The examination results show that there are no physical abnormalities. However, her memory has still not returned, leaving Kanata disappointed. Alba steps forward to explain the situation. He believes that Noir's memory processor may be overloaded, and the chip storage within her is unusually installed. He also considers the possibility that she was either originally defective or may have been part of an experimental procedure. Alba theorizes that Noir may have been a special subject, possibly sacrificed for some unknown experiment. However, he concludes that her only real problem is that she is more human-like than other Magus, occasionally needing sleep. Apart from that, there is no indication of a mechanical or serious defect. Kanata listens carefully as Alba explains, understanding that restoring Noir's memory will require patience and specialized care. He feels reassured that Alba's experience and expertise make him the best person to handle such a delicate situation. Meanwhile, Noir remains stable, and Kanata resolves to continue supporting her and caring for her until the memory restoration can succeed. He also begins to notice small ways to help her adjust to her human-like traits, hoping that with time and guidance, she will regain what was lost. Everyone else is still laughing and talking, not knowing that a terrible disaster is coming. Suddenly, Mam sends out an urgent summons to everyone. The skilled adventurers hurry to the location as quickly as they can. When they arrive, they see that the situation is much worse than anyone imagined. Every March town on the map has already been destroyed, and even the energy crystals have been taken away. Mam quickly realizes that the cause of all this destruction is the parasitic Enders. There is also a concern that humans might be involved, so she orders a thorough investigation to find out where this disaster comes from. Watching so many towns fall one after another, it becomes clear that the next target could be their own village. Kanata feels a surge of fear and determination. He immediately asks Mam for permission to go to the front lines and help investigate, but Tokyo, standing behind him, refuses without hesitation. Tokyo thinks Kanata is too weak and tells him to stay in the village with the elderly and the children, where he would be safe. Kanata does not accept this and insists that he must go, arguing that he has to see the truth and help protect everyone. Tokio still refuses, wanting to protect him, until Ma'am intervenes. She allows Kanata to go, understanding that he is determined to stand on his own. The next day, Kanata and Tokio go to the scrapyard to investigate what has happened. Tokio is hesitant to take Kanata along, worried about his safety. When they reach the scrapyard, they are shocked to see it completely destroyed. There is no sign of life anywhere. Kanata finds it hard to accept what he sees. He believes people might be hiding somewhere, so he starts moving deeper into the ruins. Tokio grabs him, warning that it could be dangerous to go further without knowing what is ahead. Kanata becomes frustrated and pushes Tokio away, determined to explore on his own. The two split up, each going in different directions. Suddenly, enders burst up from the ground. Tokio fights one of the creatures and discovers that it is an old, broken mecha filled with parasites, which gives it the ability to move on its own. Meanwhile, Kanata has already gone deeper into the scrapyard. Noir notices Kanata is acting alone and asks why he does not stay with Tokio. Kanata explains that he respects Tokio, but Tokio always treats him like a child. He wants to stand on his own and prove that he can be independent. As Kanata moves forward, he is suddenly ambushed by enders. Anger fills him because he sees them as the killers of everyone in the scrapyard. He attacks with all his strength, but his blows do not work. The ender mecha shoots off Kanata's mecha leg and surrounds him from every side. At the critical moment, Claudia appears. She knows exactly where to strike to cause the most damage. Seeing Tokio badly injured, Flam uses her healing abilities to save him. Tokio survives, but his injuries remain serious, and the battle is far from over. The ultimate enemy of the ideal state has finally appeared. This happens because Kanata is trying to find the location of Paradise Histoire. Everyone who knows about Paradise has already been executed, leaving no one alive to help him. To stop Kanata, a large group of men is sent to assassinate him. However, the person actually assigned as the agent is Seal, who already knows Kanata. Seal is a robot, but somehow she develops feelings she cannot explain for Kanata. She warns him strongly not to fight the enders recklessly. Still, Kanata is not the kind to run away or show fear, and he refuses to back down. Tokio, though injured while protecting him earlier, also continues to watch closely, ready to help if needed. Meanwhile, the purple storm looms in the distance. Two massive towers constantly release waves of enders. The adventurers defending their homeland gather together, preparing for a fierce and desperate fight. Ellie, eager to take action, breaks away from the group and moves to fight alone. She is surprised when the enemy keeps coming, and even boss-level monsters appear to challenge her. Just as she begins to struggle, Kanata arrives on the battlefield. His movements are quick, precise, and fluid, showing that he is no longer the inexperienced rookie everyone once knew. Ellie quickly realizes that Kanata has grown stronger, and the two join forces to fight off the endless waves of enemies. Together, they push forward toward the center of one of the towers. It becomes clear that Seal never truly wanted to kill Kanata. She only followed the orders of her superior, the masked man, who wants to test Kanata's potential. This mission even goes against the direct command of the supreme leader of Heaven's people. By this point, Kanata has reached the front lines, taking the place of exhausted adventurers and leading the charge. Claudia orders Flam to use his most powerful technique to clear a path to the top of the tower so everyone can advance. The group presses forward with determination, refusing to stop until they reach the heart of the threat. At the same time, Tokio awakens, knowing that such an enormous battle requires his presence. He joins the fight as Kanata's teammates cover him, allowing Kanata to climb higher up the giant tower. Their goal is clear: destroy the purple storm core to end the battle. However, countless enders block their path. The pressure is intense, and Kanata's mech takes continuous damage. Even Noir begins to weaken under the strain. Just when Kanata feels he cannot continue, Tokio arrives riding a rocket. Together, the two brothers fight side by side, eliminating every ender in their path. Once the enemies are cleared, they climb to the core of the tower. With perfect timing, they strike the final blow together. Just as they believe the battle is over, a new threat appears. The largest core forms between the two towers, signaling that the boss has entered Phase 2 and the fight is far from finished. Everyone is shocked and asks Daniel, who reveals that it is the Ender's desperate move to stay alive and fight them. After destroying the core, The fight will actually end. Listening to this, the drifters get confident and decide to fight again. Michael and Tokyo rushes to attack, but it seems like Tokyo injuries are still holding him back. Kanata also tells him to hold back, but not listening to anyone. Both Michael and Tokyo attacks the core, but instead got injured. Tokyo saves himself by grabbing the Ender, and Michael party catch him just in time as he dreams of marrying Maria. Watching this, Kanata also rushes to attack as he climbs the Ender, destroying its minions. However, when Kanata is about to stab the core, it saves itself, and one of the minion destroys Kanata's right hand, hence reducing combat ability by 23%. That's when Noir and Kanata realize that Ender is preparing for the same attack it used on Tokyo and Michael. Noir begins to doubt her abilities as she recalls her conversation with Maria, realizing that she must grow stronger alongside Kanata if she wants to be with him. Suddenly, a great surge of power appears, and Noir screams as her hair turns black. She immediately shields Kanata from the minion's attack. This version of Noir seems mean and even seems disappointed towards Kanata, promising to help him only this time. Noir reveals her second ability and attacks the Ender with huge spikes, ending the fight quickly. Everyone is impressed with Kanata's ability, as he himself not believing that they won. Dark version of Noir appears again and says that Mystere is disappointed as Drifters has fallen so much in just 20 years. She then tells that she is mad how a dud can pull her out of safe mode Noir and leaves while Kanata calls for Noir. Meanwhile, everything goes back to normal and everyone seems to enjoying their life in their way. Back to Mystere, who sighs upon looking at Kanata after waking up. This annoys Kanata as he asks her about Noir again. Mystere gets to know that Kanata is also looking for Histoire but refuses to help with anything as she reveals that Noir is her safe mode and she only wants to sleep because she can't be Magus to any person except that specific person. Elsewhere, Seal can be seen enjoying a drink while exchanging information with the masked man and Schnee. The masked man thinks that Noir might be the key to project Pascal data. They order Seal to keep observing so they can find out if the key is Noir or Mystere and leaves. Suddenly, Seal listens to a voice taunting her to be a mechanical doll pretending to be a human. On the other hand, Tokyo is shocked when the masked guy reveals himself as mocked Uigkite. He decides to follow him, but his injuries don't let him do so. That's all for today, my fellow men of culture. If you like the video and want part 2 of it, just comment Noir. Make sure to subscribe the channel to stay in touch.